right now I'm working on a conference paper that's for a new project that's about wooden shipping pallets. And I'm interested in wooden shipping pallets because they're a completely ordinary, everyday object that shows us about how economies and ecologies get linked together in particular ways. And so it turns out that the wooden shipping pallet was part of a transformation of patterns of global shipping and the development of new types of commodity chains in the post-war era. And that connected different parts of the world and allowed for long-distance trade in a new way. And at the same time, it also connected forests on different continents. And because the shipping pallets are made of wood, they transfer wood-boring insects from one place to another along with goods. So they have some hitchhikers along with them. And so I'm working together with an ecologist at the Harvard Forest to look collaboratively and interdisciplinarily at how is it that these two processes, the rise of certain forms of trade routes and the insects that move with these pallets, are transforming forest ecologies at the same time as economies. Well, I know a lot about the stories behind the salmon at the grocery store. And what I mean by that is my dissertation research focused on salmon fisheries in northern Japan. And as part of that work, I spent a lot of time learning about different types of salmon that are produced in different parts of the world and how they're shipped around and how they end up at your grocery store. And so if you see a person standing in front of the frozen food section and holding up a piece of frozen salmon, that's probably me trying to imagine the life story or the pathway that product has gone through from the time that was a living fish till it ended up at your local Super Brugsen. So I have a great imagination for reconstructing the histories of everyday products.
I'd like to pass on this relay to you, Heather. I know you work a lot with natural scientists, so I'm curious how collaborating with natural scientists and doing all this interdisciplinary work has affected the way you approach anthropology and your own field methods and the ethnographic techniques that you might use.
Mm-hmm. Gauri, thank you so much for that question. It's definitely been one of the themes that has been at the center of my work since I've been here in Aarhus. I'm part of a group here called the Aarhus University Research on the Anthropocene, a project led by Niels Bohr professor Anna Tseng. And as a group, our research team has been asking that question. And we actually are part of an interdisciplinary group of anthropologists and biologists who work together to ask about anthropogenic landscape change. And so what we do is, one of our methods is that we go out together to a field site. We've been doing some work here in central Jutland, and biologists and anthropologists, we go out together and we walk across the landscape. And we've oftentimes called our method the rubber boots method, because we go out together, walk through landscapes, and ask about what catches our eye, what are we curious about, and where are the places where our curiosities differ and where are the places where our curiosities overlap, and how can we push each other to ask new and different questions. Another one of my methodological approaches is simply just to be curious. If we think about the history of anthropology, anthropologists have often had very, very wide-ranging interests. We've been curious about the plants that people relate to, the animals, and so we've always, if you think about anthropology as the study of humankind, which is about as general as you can get. And so it seems to me it's one of the last fields that we have that has that sensibility of like the Renaissance polymath, where you still get to be curious about everything. So I think one of my other practices is also to cultivate interdisciplinarity within and to sort of cross-train myself by reading a lot of texts from the natural sciences to sort of spark my own curiosities about different disciplines as well. So both collaboration in the field and then cultivating my own multiple interests. I'd like to pass the baton on to Vladimir Cueva, and I would like to ask him, I'm aware that he has a lot of experience working in both the private and nonprofit sectors before he joined Aarhus Universitet. And so I would like to ask him how those experiences have shaped his approaches to research and teaching.